Hey everybody, we'll get started here very shortly. Hope everybody's having a good day. Try to give a little bit of time for people to hop on and whatnot. Haven't done it for the past 2 weeks, just been incredibly busy, but I'm gonna try to get back into a habit of going live here or uploading the recorded version of the auction videos on Friday, you know, every other, kind of how we were saying typically. So, but yeah, there's one of them I missed, but I did watch it as it went down. So, I knew what it ended at, so we're still gonna talk about it. Hey, Morbid Morphs, how are you doing today? Hope you're doing good. There we go. Before we get started, which I'll go over it again at the end, but we will this weekend. I think tomorrow we're uploading some different kind of content, which we're happy about. And usually we don't upload on Fridays unless it's, you know, the auction video that we recorded instead of going live. So, we, on Sunday, went to a very awesome show, and it was one with no ball pythons. We went to Colubrid Fest, which was in Fort Wayne, which wasn't a terrible drive for us, and we did some content. So, I believe tomorrow, or Saturday, I don't know if we've decided for sure yet, but one of those 2 days we're gonna upload our full walkthrough. So it's not as big of a show as Tinley by any means. It is a really awesome show, and it has a lot of potential to grow to be potentially as big as Tinley. I could definitely see it, but right now, in terms of the time wise, it's about a third to a fourth, right? Would you say? Of time wise, about a third to a fourth-ish of the size in terms of the amount of the video that is. It's about an hour or something, right?
I don't remember.
Okay. But yeah, it's a full walkthrough from very beginning to very end. It was really fun. There's a lot of cool stuff there. I definitely recommend, if you're in the area, checking it out. And then on Sunday we'll have our top 5 picks from there. So like I said, no ball pythons, not just in that video but in the entire show. So really cool. We're really excited to bring that to y'all. Hope you enjoy it as well. So Macomorph, how are you doing today? In Heart of the Python, what is up? So all right, while we are waiting for more people to jump on, we might as well show you the one that we missed in terms of time, but I do know what it ended at, so I actually ended up catching that. So all right, what do I do here? Computer cam, right? Yeah, that's what we do.
Spell it full screen.
I should probably do that so people can't see the video games you're playing. All right. So Acid Clown female. This girl was up there. She had a reserve on her, but it did drop off. So somebody did indeed win it. I'm gonna go ahead and refresh it. And I don't know, there's a bug on this computer that says I'm not logged in at all times. I'm done caring. It works on everything else, and this is not. I stream off of his computer actually, so makes it kind of easier. But that's not important. This girl here ended at 600. I don't remember when the reserve exactly dropped off. It might have been right at 500. But for a female Acid Clown, that's pretty good. $50 shipping, not bad. Acid is a really awesome gene. We work Confusion here. They are not the same, but they look precisely the same. Very interesting. Very curious to learn what comes out more about this, to see if they're in the same family or not. But still a really cool animal. I love what they do. So I want to show you like some of the stuff. I mean, obviously you see the picture here. They definitely tend to add more head pattern, but a lot of busyness to the pattern itself too, just kind of messing up around. It's not like your normal clown by any means. But something that gets lost, I think, in that all is the granulation that you see ever so slightly coming in, like right here, here. It's not like massive like GHI or anything like that, or any of these other crazy granulation genes, but it is something that is definitely observable. And the color from the belly, they in general have a nice color to them. And then speaking of the belly, so most people know this, but some people don't, because I notice a lot of pictures don't show it. This is a confusion, I think I'm about to show you. I hope this is the right picture. I don't know, because they all got messed up. Yeah, this is it. This is a confusion. Got a little bit more into it as well, but like I said, they're kind of very, very similar. But look at that belly. It's like a hognose belly. You don't get belly pattern with ball pythons, except for in very rare instances, and this one does it the best. Absolutely cool and crazy. Again, not something you see all the time, because when are they going to show you their bellies? But it is still really sharp. So that's the sort of stuff you're working with there. Being in a girl at that, you can easily add extra genetics to it. Obviously, if you wanted to get confusion or acid into a lot of your animals, it might be better to defer to a boy with that in there. But it certainly doesn't hurt to have that in a girl, because then you can start adding to that. So you can kind of view it as a double-edged sword, not having the male to spread to everything else, because when you do get something else, a male with like a lot of other genetics in there, you can then, you know, hopefully get a male, make a male that would be even more powerful. So therefore you can start using that. So yeah. VIP Morse Gerald, how are you doing? Good evening. But definitely had to show it. Like I said, it did end right before we went live, but it ended at 600. So not a bad one. But this next one we have here should end while we're watching. And I don't know if this one even has any bids, which surprises me. Well, I guess it does and doesn't, because looking at this snake, you're just like, okay, it's a pastel. It's a, you know, who cares, right? Well, it's what's underneath the hood that matters, just like with a lot of stuff. This is a double het puzzle desert ghost. That's big, and being in a girl too, it means you can grow her up for quite some time to wait to source a male of some sort, whether it's a desert ghost het puzzle or a puzzle het desert ghost boy that you get to kind of just up those odds, you know, rather than getting another double het to put to it. If you need any convincing as to why this could be something very, very nice and big in your future, well, there you go, because this right here is a pastel DG puzzle. I believe that's all that's in this. Let me see. There's a... oh, well, that didn't help. I believe that's all that there is here, though. But the point of the matter is that pastel with puzzle actually works really, really well, and it's already been proven that DG pastels clean up everything that pastel supposedly dirties. Like I said, as you can see right here, these are sharp looking animals, and for whatever reason you get this cool, really, really cool head stamp. Almost like in a way what you get with Enchi, but it's completely balded in the middle. It's sharp. You have these cool patterns, just these lemon drop yellows. They're very crisp. You get this flaming coming in from the belly, which is really crazy and wild. And then again, the blacks. Yeah, they obviously fade in and out, but where they are black, they're jet black. So lots of cool contrast here. But yeah, that's the sort of things you're looking at right there. It's only got 15 minutes left. You know, I definitely think it's worth that price point, because you get that male to put to it. These are worth a whole heck of a lot more than 300. I can tell you that. And I don't think that a DG het puzzle or a puzzle het DG would be a terribly bank breaking thing to get. So it is a opportunity for somebody. There's free shipping on this too. Excuse me. And so it's not like you're paying any extra for it. Oh, I didn't even notice it, but it's nearly halfway to size. So you've got a considerable amount of work taken out and growing it for you already. I didn't even notice that. So mom was a pastel Enchi DG, and the dad was a banana puzzle. So definitely pastel. I do not believe that you'll see Enchi, and it's most certainly not banana. And I don't. This is not a super pastel either. So, but yeah, very cool opportunity. I think be a little surprised that it's not getting bid on. Maybe just because it has a higher start price, but I think this is the way to do it. Personally, this is what I like to see. Start where you would put your reserve at. I think the reserve is a good tool for other people to have. I think the more tools, the better, so that people can feel comfortable doing what they want. But often reserves, I mean, let's just face it, reserves do, for whatever reason, they deter people from bidding sometimes, and I don't know why that is, but it is. So you know, that's what I recommend. That's what I like to see, and that's what I would do if I was putting it up there. So but yeah, again, from that to that, just based on those hats, just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So I definitely I like I said, I hope somebody goes for it, but we'll see. You know, I would, if I had Desert Ghost. I actually am one of the few that don't work it. So you know, but if I do, I work puzzle. So if I had this would be bid on 100%. So all right, moving on to this Stranger Red Stripe Pastel Het Clown Male. Now usually I don't you know, obviously I prefer having males that are visual for their recessives, at least in some regard, but there are circumstances where that's just not possible for somebody, and price is certainly one of those, especially with these jeans like Red Stripe and Stranger being put together. This one here from Fallen Angel Reptiles, it's still a really good opportunity, because Stranger, while it has come down considerably in price, still does command somewhat of a price, you know, point, because it is a really visual jean. As you can see here, all that ghostliness to it, that shading, that fogging, this that look like these ghosts coming from the netherworld kind of up here. That is the Stranger at work. And Red Stripe's going to add a tinge of red throughout that. So Red Stripe really pairs well with genetics that are shaders, because they usually kind of fill that shade in, that like this, with some reds and stuff like that, like some rusty colors. Being Het Clown, obviously this, if this was a visual clown, would be, well, a bit more. This one has 30 minutes left. It's only at $60, but there's some interest there, as you can see, because I feel like people are kind of thinking the same thing. It'd be pretty easy and pretty affordable to get a visual clown female with, quite frankly, some other genetics in her. And then that gives you 50-50 shots of hitting clowns. And then, of course, you just gotta, you know, hope that the odds gods are on your side. That you get some of those Strangers in there and stuff like that, but your odds are pretty good that you're gonna hit something like that, at least one Stranger clown. And well, again, odds, the more genetics that you're gonna have more in there are great. So just consider that if you're on a budget and you wanted to work some really cool stuff, you can still work Stranger clown, make cool things, but still control it with a budget, and especially in this market. Because you know, anybody can get 2 inchies or, you know, pastel and breed them, and that's, you know, that's nothing wrong with that if you're trying to learn and stuff like that. But I'm saying that you can learn and make cool things. You can do it on a budget. So that's my recommendation, something like that, if you are kind of just dabbling and just you kind of want to see what it's like. You want to do it low-key, maybe 1 or 2 clutches a year even, or why not just for fun. Well, there's nothing saying that you don't have to do that, but still make cool things without spending your entire life savings. See how much time is left on some of these. Okay. Next one we wanted to highlight today would be this Black Pastel Banana Clown Possible Hypo. Immediately, first thing, anytime I see a banana, they're so nice. We actually have a pretty fair chance of hitting some banana black pastel combos this year. I think we have the Confusion Clown pairing to her, you know, in the hopes of getting some Confusion black pastel banana clowns and such like that. But the first thing with this boy that I would do is immediately send a shed test, once you could, to RGI for hypo, because that could really change what you want to do. If it proves out as het hypo, obviously it makes a lot of sense to move in that direction to get a female that at least has a het. But if not, you know, maybe you get the hypo het clown, work them against each other so that you know that whatever you don't hit is going to be at least double het. So just kind of work within the bounds of you know, like a budget or something like that. So still a really cool one here. I'm gonna jump back and just check this one. Still nothing on that one. So hey, Leviathan. How are you doing? I'm assuming it's you, Steven, but I could be wrong. Oh, Hilltop, how are you doing today as well? Welcome, everybody. Haven't missed much. We don't have a whole bunch, by the way, today. But, you know, obviously I like to go through at least 10 or 12 of them, so. But yeah, something definitely I recommend if you wanted to work into that sort of project. But like I said, banana clowns are what originally made me get into breeding. I had my very first snake was a banana. That was it. Just well, for ball python anyways. And just wanted to have one. This was a long time ago, and I'll never forget what made me want to do it. And it was seeing it was Royal Constrictor pythons, and he uploaded a video, and he was showing off this banana Anchi clown. And at the time they were like $2,500, but when I first saw it, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. It could have been a coral glow, but they're the same. But I immediately was like, I have to have that. And they said, you know, I kind of looked it up on I believe it was still Morphmarket at the time, yeah. And you know, found out it was $2,500, and I was like, whoa, I don't want to spend $2,500. But I started saying, hell, I had the banana. What if I eventually just made it? I eventually did make it, not from that pairing, because ironically the boy, well, the one I had, I thought was a girl the whole time, and that's when I started learning and everything like that. But yeah, banana is what got me into it. So bananas got us in the ballpark. Yeah, it's I don't know what it is. It's just, I hear that a lot. Bananas are just so sharp, and that's what starts you. And first I wanted to work almost all exclusively light genes, these bright things, and then slowly that changed, and now I say dark genes, but I don't really mean dark genes, I mean contrast. I want the dark genes in there to contrast out all these awesome things. So but yeah, I hear that a lot. Banana is just what got so many people into wanting to breed ball pythons. It is arguably one of, if not the most influential gene in ball pythons. So just in terms of a historical aspect of things, I'd say. See if anybody's throwing a bid down on it yet. Oh, nope, nothing yet. Like I said, just what you could do with something like this. Just, that's what you got to look for, is look past what you see here in just the pastel and look at what you could make. And not, you know, not for a terrible amount, all things considered, for what they normally would go for. So all right, now we're going to talk about my favorite thing in the world, monarchs. And there's a couple of them up here. Looks like one of them got closed. We'll try to get that one open. Actually ends in like 28 minutes. I'm kind of looking at that one myself. But this here would be a double het monarch hypo. Now, I couldn't find anybody who had created a monarch hypo just yet. But this being a female, that if you're gonna go double head anyways, this is the way, in my opinion, to start it with a female, because you start growing them up. You spend, you know, 2-3 years doing so. In that time, people are creating visual versions of it and prices are dropping. So that is when you get your male, which is considerably, you know, easier to grow up. That is, that's the way to do it in my opinion, ideally. But of course, everybody kind of works it differently. But the price on this one here it's really, really right. I've got a whole bunch of like Monarch stuff going on right now. Otherwise, I would consider this sort of stuff. I do work hypo. Obviously, I work Monarch. I don't work them together though. So, but maybe that is something for the future. Another one here would be from MSB Reptiles, a pair of them. This has no bids on it yet, so you'd be getting 1 for 1. Now you would be going head to head, but since you're just going one het to one het, that is Monarch. That's het Monarch to het Monarch. You have about 1 in 4 chance of hitting, and considering that snakes are laying on average 6 eggs, you've got a pretty good shot of hitting a visual Monarch. So if it's again something that you wanted to work on a budget, but you wanted to get something incredible, there you go. And I thought there was one more in here, so actually, not in auctions, but did you see the Hurricane combo double het Monarch Clown Girls Bob put up today? I did not. Are they on Morphmarket? I got time. I can take a look real quick. I want to see if anybody bid on this one yet. 3 minutes. Doesn't look like anybody's gonna bite. I'm gonna take a look into that right now, though. Market. I don't know if he put them up here or if he just put it on his social medias or whatnot, but I shall find out. There we go. Okay. Those are really sharp. Those are really well priced, in my opinion. Wow. Again, like I said, just imagine now hitting the Monarch. I don't think I showed the, I'm sitting here talking about Monarchs and such like that. Again, everything got taken out of order. Yes, there we go. So here's what the Monarchs look like by themselves. They've got a very rich color. Honestly, what I really love is obviously the color for the pattern itself, but the something I used to talk with Tom Harbing about would be the off, the background color. This mahogany that really is just super duper unique. It's incredible just by itself. I always like to think that Monarch has like a microdose of DG to it too, because they're just really good with things like pastel and such like that too. So they're such a good deal. Yeah, we're not in a Monarch, but it has me eyeing them. Yeah, for sure. And there's Tinley coming up. I don't know if you'll be there. If you will, I'll definitely see you there. But I might be able to just hit him up and say, hey, what do we got, about a month? Can you just bring it? That's where did I put him? Where did I put that sheet or that page? That's pretty sharp. Hurricane Yellow Belly, Leopard Hurricane. I'm obviously tempted to do that, but I sometimes you'll sleep on Yellow Belly and then I regret it. Yeah, these are really sharp. Appreciate you telling me about that. That's such a good deal. So unless somebody snatches them from me. Because awesome. Same spot, Bob's old spot. Either way, it doesn't matter, I'll find you. So yeah, we're excited. So we actually just went to Colubrid Fest and on Sunday. So that was a whole lot of fun. So we missed it last year, but that video, we're gonna do a full walkthrough of it coming out on I think it's either tomorrow or Saturday, and then we're gonna do like our usual top 5 that we kind of picked from snakes from there for Sunday. So that was a whole heck of a lot of fun. That is a show that I think could grow big time too. So obviously no bull pythons, but hey, you know, we like all sorts of things. So yeah, I'm gonna yeep. Take a look at that again later. I might be setting something up for him. So I think what would be where Corey's tables usually are. I'm just hooking this up again. Oh, okay, cool. Cool. Well, then you'll be pretty close to him, I think, from where he was. I can't remember, but I know where that was because it's right across from Hulker's and Steve's. So cool. Well, you guys have an awesome setup and awesome stuff and everything like that. So yeah, anybody here, definitely check out Leviathan if you already haven't. I assume you have, but very, very cool stuff you're doing over there. So oh, speaking of that, I don't know why I didn't think about that. I don't think I can blow this picture up anymore, but this is a Hurricane Monarch right here. Just kind of show you, it kind of blows those patterns wide open. Just really, really, really solid. I said what I really love about it is this coloring right there. Just there's really nothing that gets quite like that mahogany type color. Absolutely gorgeous. So, you know, kind of fits perfectly into what you were what you said too. I was just using it as an example that I had queued up of what more you could do with Monarch, you know, from hitting a regular Monarch, and you set the table for me, my friend, with those ones. So that's pretty sharp. To think that, you know, you'd obviously, those other ones have even more to it is just wild. So yeah, I think I'll be in touch with Bob. I've been saying I've never actually purchased from Bob before. And I don't know how that's a possibility in this world that we live in, but I think that might change now. So alrighty, go ahead and move forward. I got another pair here with this 1 for 1, and if nobody knows what 1.1 means, that's one male, one female. The first whenever you see that written out like that, the first number is for males, the second number is for females. So sometimes you might find 1.2, that means there's 3 snakes. So but this one here, well, it doesn't look like they uploaded the genetics down here, but it looks like black pastel, hypo, het cryptic, and an orange dream, yellow belly. Oh, it says it right down here. Never mind. The male is a orange dream, yellow belly, double het, hypo, clown, or cryptic. I'll explain why that happened. And the female is a black pastel, hypo, het, cryptic. So it's very likely that this came from a Krypton, that I would imagine. The male anyway, so they'd have to be unrelated, meaning that that's an allelic combo of clown and cryptic. They work together to create kind of a unique example, and they must pass one copy of their genetics on. So you're either going to get a clown or a cryptic. So in this case, you could have it tested to find out, and just kind of put all a doubt to the side, especially if you're going to get other animals to pair to it. That would be a wise decision. But if not, well, then you would either be getting cryptics or more kryptons from a pairing of that direct sort anyways. So Windy City Morphs makes really quality, really quality animals. So this is a visual hypo, so I'm assuming this is, yeah, the black pastel hypo. Het cryptic girl is right here. And then this would be the ODYB. That's all you're seeing anyways, but there's a lot underneath the surface there. And het hypo, clown or cryptic. So another really cool combo to get there, especially from Windy City Morphs. I absolutely love seeing their stuff. Very, very solid. So all right, next up, again, another one you don't see every day, although they are more common nowadays on the auctions, I should say. Be this sunset right here. It does not have a reserve. Yes, I couldn't remember for sure, but there is one bid, so they probably started it off pretty, you know, probably at their reserve price anyway. So if you wanted to get a male sunset to start anyways, this might be a good way to do it. That way you can, and, you know, it is a pretty nice looking one too. So there's a lot that's been done with Sunset lately. And actually, look no further than Leviathan. Putting them with the Ultramel has become my favorite example of the Sunset. What do you call it? The Monarchs that I have. You know, I didn't know where. I knew I would like to get into Sunset at one point, but I didn't know where it would make the most sense, because I really have some limited room to an extent. You know, I can kind of grow a little more up here and there, but you know, I'm already getting ladders at this point. But I kind of wanted to work it with something to make it, you know, not kind of be the base of the project, and that is kind of where I wanted to go. As soon as I saw the Ultramel Sunsets, I thought like wow, okay, those are out of this world. What would the Monarchs? I'm pretty sure obviously other people are gonna be there before we know it, but you know, I think that would be solid. I think it'd be a really, really cool project given what we've already seen from Ultramel. So that is one that I personally would like to do. Ideally, I was kind of looking for somebody to maybe do, you know, that already had Sunset, so that you could get some other genetics in there and stuff like that too, rather than just kind of going, you know, plain Jane double het or hets and all that sort of stuff. So, still a really cool animal though. Sunset's a really solid project. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff. I always say like the lighter stuff, like banana stuff like that. Those were always really, really stood out to me. So, hey Dickie, how are you today? Giving everybody their salutes. Another one here, I just kind of wanted to throw it in there. It's just because of how much I love Cypress and just how clean and solid this animal looks. This would be a Cypress Mojave Fire Clown. It's just so crisp, clean, and cool. And a lot of that, obviously Fire and Mojave really add that nice white side kind of coming up there. But Cypress is just one of the better genes to work, no matter what you're putting it into. That's why you're gonna get this just pretty much blocked out reddish or orangish head when you put it into Clown. Cypress and Clown are absolutely made for each other. And again, the Mojave just doing even more, working with the Cypress, which also changes the pattern a bit. Create these cool little keyhole patterns, definitely reduced it a bit, and that you know, obviously it's not as busy anymore, but that definitely adds more to the contrast, especially when you get these nice whites coming up. It really just calls attention to these like white-sided type, you know, these pythons like doing this sort of stuff nowadays. Like I said, it's what you could do with something like this, working it forward, you know, working it into a female especially. That's what's so kind of cool about it. For a male, you know, if you did get a male version of this, that is, you could still work it into things, but females, I feel like you can get away with having a little bit less in them. So I always say the first things that I'd like to work into them is always blackhead. It's just immediately something I always like putting into these things, so because it works so well with everything. So Pure Passion Pythons, good evening, how are you? See ya. You're doing over there. I think we've got a few more here, and if anybody's got questions or anything like that, pop off in the comments. I'm not just here to show you snakes, although I can do that because I'm going to give you a spoiler at the end of this for our videos over the weekend. Because again, I went to Cluebird Fest, and well, Cluebird Fest doesn't have any ball pythons, so I got something from there though, so we'll see. All right, speaking of blackhead, like I was doing earlier, this yellow belly blackhead clown female, a very favorable price. So again, this is kind of for some people that don't have a whole, you know, big budget or anything like that, but want to still make cool things. We are most definitely in a market where that is possible. Your odds might not be as crazy good as others, but this is a great example of one you could get. You get her, you grow her up. You've got yellow belly and blackhead, which are some of the most versatile genes that work well with just about everything. I immediately started, you know, and I looked at this, started thinking of like, well, what if you get something that's like a Pompeii, but you switch the black pastel with black head? because those are red stripe and spot nose. That's the other jeans, other than black pastel. So what if you were to switch those out? Get a male that kind of has that sort of stuff in there. While you're at it, you probably get it with black pastel these days. Get something, like I said, their prices have come down, so you can make awesome snakes that still go for a good amount. That's just, whether, depending on what you're in it for, whether it's monetary or for fun or whatnot, it really doesn't matter. Don't settle on, at least in my opinion, I think that you can definitely come up with a way to make something that's still very, very cool and valuable. You don't have to just put pastel to pastel anymore or anything like that. So Keller, I missed this thing. I'll get that. Yeah, I missed it. It probably did not get an auction or a one on it, I would assume. That's our next one, but it definitely does have beds. So let's see. I have a genetic stripe pastel male with het DG het cryptic. So that would be a genetic stripe pastel het DG het cryptic. Okay. Would you look for something specific in a female to get started with? A clutch, possibly pastel, and something else, obviously. Well, if it's a visual genetic stripe pastel, but you have het DG and het cryptic, I personally would look for something with DG in it, like a visual DG. It would really pop, especially if you were wanting to do something pastel related. Pastels, DG and pastel, they really mesh quite well because it keeps DG or pastel like looking pretty sharp, or at least much more sharp than they do as they age. DG is just incredible for that. So if you have these hets, although you will be working for hets in with hets in a male, it doesn't matter. You should definitely try to utilize them. The cool thing with cryptic is that you can go with a het cryptic, or you can work the het cryptics, or you can work the clown. And I talked about it earlier, but the cryptics and the clown gene are allelic, so you can create this combo that they call a krypton, and it's one copy of clown and it's one copy of cryptic. So that is another thing that I think I would try to work into there. If you get a double het, even, I mean, you're working hets against hets, so the odds are going to be tough. But it just depends on your budget. If you can get something visual in one of those, then your odds go up considerably, obviously. So that's something I would highly recommend to do. And then of course you have the genetic stripe there kind of to play around with. And if you have a visual one, although genetic stripe does not get the love I feel like it should by any means, that there's still some great potential there to have. We have genetic stripe, no visuals, but we have some monarch type stuff with them in there. The whole story to that I won't get into because that just, you don't want to get me off topic. But those are some things I would key in on, is getting those. And when you buy them, you might look at them like the hets. They're really hidden treasures, because that's something that you don't see, right? But you will see it in your results when you finally do those pairings. So that is my recommendation, is to not ignore those hets. And to go for something maybe visual DG. I think that's your best bet, especially with working pastel, because those are still very, very sharp looking animals. And then, like I said, don't forget that cryptic or clown, because you get a DG krypton or cryptic, something like that. Those will be pretty darn sharp. Same thing with the genetic stripe, and you could be doing that, while working them, depending on how you do it. If you get visual, then your odds go up considerably. Just remember that. So that's my recommendation anyways, is do not, definitely work that DG, and don't forget about the cryptic. Remember, you can get the clown though. There's going to be a bajillion clowns on this site. I can guarantee you that. So, and depending on your budget, you can find one to fit it. I guarantee you. So, hope that helped. Learning a ton here, so thank you very much. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Always love doing these, talking to y'all. So, I'll have to watch the replay. Super late as always. Oh, hi, Sarah. Anyone know what the snake in the thumbnail was? Yeah, I think we actually went over that just a little bit ago. Didn't you do the banana? Because I was talking about.
Yeah.
Still got 40 minutes left. Yeah. So black pastel banana clown. I just wanted to include it because I love them, and I wanted to talk about how banana is what got me started in breeding. Anyways, so definitely definitely a cool looking one though. I mean, for you know, thumbnail for clickbait, I'm glad you saw it because that's kind of why we do it. And bananas are wonderful for that sort of stuff. So did I say clickbait? I totally meant to say that. That's okay. Yeah. But yeah, it's still got, what is that, 40 minutes, yes. Some good interest in it though. Again, this is one that if you get it, you want to send in a shed test to RGI and you know, find out if that is hypo, if you're gonna breed. Of course, if you're just keeping it as a pet, you know, that ain't important until you change your mind. So appreciate the response. Thank you. Yep, of course, anytime. Pure passion peasant. Is anyone familiar with the different lines of hypo? No, I'm not sure. Not sure if there was, but then again, we're learning things every single day. So I mean, like as of like a year and a half ago, maybe even less, I actually missed the thing where they said that Barnhart Black Pastel was its own gene, its own line basically, but it's the allelic. So I could have missed something. Very, very likely could have missed something. But as far as I know, you know, you just got that. Now you might hear hypo, and you might hear ghost. But ghost, when I started, everyone, at least around here, was calling it ghost. Around me, that's all I heard was ghost. Nobody called it hypo. And it was also, honestly, it was, in my opinion, it was disrespected. I would hear people say it just makes your snake look like it's in shed. Which I'm super glad to see that is not something that's happening anymore, and people are absolutely loving hypo. And part of that reason, I think, is because of the ironic reason that it might have stopped being called ghost, and that would be desert ghost. It got very confusing, especially since there's a gene called desert, but we don't talk about that. But imagine if you just called it a desert ghost ghost, or a ghost desert ghost. You know, so obviously it would get incredibly confusing. So it reverted to its original name, not its nickname, in hypo. But you know, you know, to go back to what people I used to hear say, it just made it look like it's in shed. I completely disagree. It makes it look like it's glowing, like it itself is a light source. So definitely something well worth looking into, especially if it is that. We've got some hypos here. We actually made striker hypos for our first clutch of the year. Striker GHI hypos. They're all eating well, other than one of them. One of them is being a pain in the butt. But they're all eating quite well. Other than that one, they look extraordinary. The striker gene is, for lack of a better term, strikingly similar to, I don't know. It just feels like it looks like what a het zebra kind of looks like. Don't read into that. I'm just saying that it definitely has resemblances to that. Some other people have said the same. My hope is to see and create that super myself, to see that myself. So, but yeah, I'm just talking about this one. Yeah, again, 26 hours left on this little one here. A really good deal in my opinion. Sorry, I'm actually bidding on the one that I said that I meant to show you all. Does it still have a reserve? Yeah, it does. We'll see what happens. But that would be a clown het monarch, but it still has a reserve with 5 minutes left. So we'll see. Really kind of going for that one, but I believe Pure Python is talking about blue. Oh yeah. So there's some of that too. I hear that, like green hypo, orange ghost is what they were calling it. Orange ghost. And they were kind of different lines, so I don't know if we'll find out anything like that. Like I said, shed testing is an evolving thing, and it's a phenomenally interesting thing. If you haven't, I definitely recommend checking into when RGI they upload about this sort of stuff, and new discoveries are happening all the time. it's incredible to find out all this stuff. I mean, there's different lines of red stripe. We know that. You know, I think they were saying the Canova red stripe. So, you know, that's the sort of stuff we find out every day. They're allelic with each other too, so it's without shed testing we would never know. So while it answers a lot of questions, in the meantime there can be some confusion because you know you run a test for red stripe at first and it was just like, oh, it's negative red stripe, and it's like, what do you mean it's negative? It looks like it's clearly, but that's what we're finding out, and it's really interesting and exciting. So thank you, it was a banger, appreciate it. Yeah, I forgot about that sort of stuff, the green ghosts and all that. So I don't know anything. In Canada, unfortunately, not able to send to RGI. Well, they're I can't remember who they are. I don't know exactly how it works, but there are partners that I know they all work together for the monsoon. Like everybody circled their wagons to figure that sucker out. And I know Ben was saying stuff about working with some people up there. I believe it's I just can't remember their name, but you do have people I think that you can go to that do this. So there you go. Look into it is my recommendation. So ooh, okay, the for the bid that I'm going for, it fell off. The reserve, that is. So we'll see what I do here. All right, go ahead and move along. RGA is awesome, love them, absolutely. And actually finally got to meet them in person, Ben and Kayla at Bluebird Fest, so I was super excited. Shoot, that's what I meant to do. I was gonna upload the picture. You took it, didn't you? It's on your phone. Okay, I was gonna upload the picture here. I'm gonna show everybody. So Heather, I do believe is her name. Yeah, that sounds super familiar from what they were saying. So that is very likely who you would need to go to. So all right, yes, lace. You might be thinking, why in the heck am I putting up a simple lace pastel? But there's, because I wanted to talk about lace. Lace is somewhat of a more subtle gene, although this one here really shows itself off quite well. Lace is one of those that you can tell, but it's a little more subtle. But once it starts getting comboed with other genetics, that's when the fireworks start. I mean, even here you can kind of see these whites kind of shooting up from the side, and that's what it's mostly known for. In fact, when you get the white lace, it has this like popcorning type stuff at the bottom of it. Sorry, taking a shot on this one here. All right, but lace itself is kind of like, it definitely affects it obviously in this regard, but it makes this thing pop. It makes it look just so extraordinary. Now I'm gonna go to an extreme here. I should have had this ready, but oh, it almost loaded. That's weird. I'm gonna go to an extreme here just to show you the crazy potential of this morph. It's, like I said, it's an absolutely beautiful animal. It's probably one of the most bright things I've ever seen, and that would be this Fire Russo spot nose lace clown here on the left, from Canova here. I use this video a lot when talking about lace, and the reason I do it, even though there's a lot more to it than just lace and pastel clearly in there, it's to show you the crazy potential of it. Fire and Russo, or not Fire, sorry, Lace and Russo are both pretty subtle. I actually work Russo here, and I both love and hate that gene, because sometimes I have difficulty finding, seeing if it's there, and that's not one I want to forget about, because it's also a Bell complex, so if I start working those into them. Fun fact, I actually had a bunch of them that were in my Monarch project, and I'm praying to God I didn't get it in my mail, because a lot of the other ones up I think ended up being Russo, so I sure as heck didn't want to do Russo to Russo in a Monarch clown pairing. That would be the most sucky Bell I've ever made. because it wouldn't look like one, because it would be all white with blue eyes. So that just something to remember. Again, that's me going off topic, but lace, this is the crazy potential you can get to. Like I said, lace and Russo, pretty subtle. I can tell you right now that a fire spot nose clown doesn't look like this. So lace and Russo are doing the heavy lifting on this. So very incredible looking animal. To think that potentiality from something like that, just because of that lace gene, really is just so extraordinary. It's definitely one to consider, getting into things. So again, if you want to work on a budget, something like that, this is a big, I didn't even notice that either. It's a big female here. So it's proven. So you could get this and start working it immediately. So if you're on a budget, getting it to a clown, if you wanted to start kind of get working into that sort of stuff right there, that could be the ticket. And you'd have to wait, obviously, because you're going to be raising up those babies as well. But you do kind of cheat the system a little bit, getting it right there. So, alrighty. Still checking on this one that I'm bidding on, so you'll have to bear with me here. I don't know how deep I'm gonna go on this, but like I said, it's a clown het monarch. I'd like my odds better than, getting the double het that I created. So I've been kind of trying to source a male for a little while. So, all right. Anyways, our last one would be this pastel monsoon from Randy Bush Reptiles. A lot of pastel monsoons that I see, it can actually kind of just gold up the whole snake, and then you don't get that cool monsoon thing. But I do see it here, which is pretty nice. But I do want to show you a regular monsoon for comparison. The point of the matter here is that you're getting a monsoon. So even if you didn't care for it with pastel, that's okay. If you wanted to work monsoon, it's an expensive project. I can tell you right now, they go for a considerable amount more than this, and that this is no reserve. So if you want to work monsoon, keep an eye on this auction, because they usually don't go any less than 4K. So just letting you know. But a regular monsoon, this is what it looks like. I believe it's named that. Never really had it confirmed, but I believe it's named that because it looks like a ton of little raindrops. But that's what I'm going with anyways. But you can definitely see the difference there. I do like the golden color that it brings in, but I do miss, that craziness. So monsoon is one that I believe really needs to be worked with color for the most part. Clown monsoons, however, are chef's kiss. They're solid because it brings that starry little all these little patterns into the head of the snake, which is really, really cool. But color is definitely the way, in my opinion, to go. And the reason for that is because what are you gonna do? I mean, I don't think it's not possible, but what are you gonna do with this pattern? It's already just crazy and wild as is. So really cool animal. I definitely think if you wanted to work monsoon, that this is something that you should not sleep on at the very least. So all right, they're fighting me. They're fighting me for this animal. I might just let it go because there is Tinley coming up, and I've seen things there too, and I would like it to have another genetic. Here I am telling you all about my bidding habits. So did you see that? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes. Yeah, Inky Clouds posted that. They're really pumped for them. It is a sharp looking animal. I don't know if I saw if a post shed has come yet. That was it out of the egg. So they look a bit differently. So I'm excited to see that as well. Anything with monarch, I mean, I'm a dork with, so. But that'll do it for those, but we're not done yet because I want to show you as a sneak peek what I picked up from. I just realized that this thing is very, very bright. There we go. I'm gonna put it on full screen here. There we go. All right, I want to show you what we picked up from Cloverbird Fest. I already got some of these. So, here we go. Alrighty, let's get you first, buddy. Don't freak out. They're still very little, so they can, you know, here I am coming in at them. We'll get them both actually all at once. I'll have to come back over here. Hey there. All right. I don't know if the camera is going to be quite good with this because this the lighting. Yeah, it's going to be awful. It's going to be really bad. Let's see what we can do about that. Maybe it's okay. I don't know. Bump this a bit. Okay. This is a Cape African house snake. This is a T+ albino right here. Camera is not doing quite well with it. It's a bit brighter than this. This was a $20 camera on Amazon, so, you know. We'll have pictures and proper videos of this up on Sunday. And this one right here is a hypo green. This has hints of green, and it will get more and more evergreeny color as it grows. You can kind of see it already, a little bit of like a mossy type green on there. Oh, yep, I mean, you're totally out of focus, buddy, but everybody says hello to you too. Look how smart they are. It's just, I love these things so passionately. And you know why? I think they're just so, they're very Python-like. They've got the eye stripes and everything like that. They have a bunch of morphs as well. They're really easily handleable. You know, just like kind of like with ball pythons. I'd say that as babies, they can be a little bit, you know, a little bit more fast and whatnot. But it's not anything to worry about because they are a little bit more, you know, scared. But as they age and they get more used to you, they are just absolutely extraordinary. And what I really am fascinated about is, again, all of these sorts of things coming together and realizing how similar it is to the ball python story. How ball pythons were really a feeder snake. Everybody thought like, oh, they're really nice, but it's just a brown snake. And then people were like, look at all these morphs, and they're really easy to handle, and they're really relaxed animals. They make the perfect pet. They make the perfect designer animal. So, you know, it really reminds me a lot about that. So, the other thing is that they're actually not really found to be colubrids, even though we got them at Colubrid Fest. They're still kind of classified with colubrids, because putting them with anything else, I think it's elapids. I could be wrong on the scientific name, but basically they're actually related, more related, and you're gonna think I'm crazy for holding it after this, but there's a caveat. They're more related to mambas than they are to colubrids. Now, they're not venomous. They're not gonna kill me, but when they move around, how they move around, how they eat, everything, and they do coil, by the way, really kind of reminds me that they're super intelligent. They're very personable. They look gorgeous. And when they feed, I can't really explain just how perfect that is. I'm going to try to get the other guy out. The other girl just ate not too long ago, so I will not get her out. She's just a regular hypo. Here's the first one I got. You go back in there. But this fella here is even brighter. He is also a T+ albino. There's 3 lines of albino known so far. There's the T+, T-, and the Bushveld, which is where I bought these from, and those are really like sharp. This is a KNZ Red 62.5 T+ albino. And you can probably see, even with this cruddy camera, he's a bit brighter, a bit more vibrant. Again, this camera is not doing it justice in any way, shape, or form. It's definitely more of a sunbursty type orange. So, but it is getting the pattern, I think, pretty decently. Just a really cool animal. Really, really rewarding. Like I said, they're not trying to jump out of my hand or anything like this. When they're first little babies, if you're breeding them, they can definitely be fast. But once they, get used to just seeing you, not even really as much handling, but they get just used to seeing you, they simmer down very, very quick. Really cool. Doesn't get too crazy big or anything like that. The females obviously are much bigger than the males, but they're not too crazy big anyways. They probably say they get smaller than a bull python and much skinnier, clearly. So really, really cool. So I don't know if anybody else had any other questions or anything like that. But we are that's what I kind of wanted to show you, some of those things that we picked up that we will show off in a much better quality camera, other than this little $20 webcam that we got off Amazon. So, but if anybody else has any questions in the meantime, obviously, again, I'll go over our upload schedule on either tomorrow or Saturday. Again, we just haven't talked about it yet. We will upload that full walkthrough of the Colubrid Fest show in Fort Wayne that we were at on Sunday. So you'll see everything. They did it in little islands, which I thought was really cool. It made the traffic management really nice. But there was like 8 or 9, how many? I don't remember. There was like 8 to 10, what the heck was that? Stuff falling down over there. Little like islands where you can kind of go around them and such like that. And then like a wall as well. So made it very easy for recording and such like that. So that will be coming out, and it's a full, like, again, walkthrough, show everything, every vendor. Every animal is about as comprehensive as you can get from beginning to very end. And then on Sunday, I know that one's on Sunday, will be our top 5 animals from there. So, and there's some absolute beauties in that for sure. So, other than that, we did finally start getting more clutches. It was such a late year, but we got some exciting ones coming up. A stranger yellow belly het clown to a GHI spot nose clown. We got a monarch clutch in the cooker now. Got some bell stuff in there too. What else was the other one? There was one more. What was it? Oh, some pied stuff. So stuff with like lavender and stuff. So future dreamsicle things and such like that too. So and then the ones we've already done. So we have a bunch more that are about to lay, I hope. Like I said, it's been an incredibly late year for us. I don't know why everyone around us is saying the same thing. Climate thing, who knows? That's what you get for living in this Northwest Indiana, I guess. So but yeah, if there's nothing else, I think we're gonna call it there. So again, I appreciate everybody dropping in, checking us out. So we should start getting on a little bit more of a regular schedule again with these, whether they're uploads to get on Friday, so we're just pre-recorded, or they are lives like this, which I absolutely love doing. So all right, everybody, you all have a wonderful night, and we will catch you in the next one. Have a good one.